Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the AEW All Out Predict the Outcome here on the Pro Wrestling Show. As you see right here, the matches, including a lot of people who's going to be the AEW All Out Extravaganza coming up. We'll have all the matches that you've been talking about. CM Punk. Yes, CM Punk makes his highly anticipated debut in AEW. He makes his debut and returns to wrestling from a 7-year absence. And also, will it be the final farewell for Chris Jericho? Chris Jericho, in some call a retirement match. Jericho doesn't want to call it a retirement match, but he takes on the up and coming brass MJF in what could be Jericho's final match in AEW. Also, too, we talk about a whole list of stuff as if could we see NXT? NXT with Triple H and Mr. McMahon. A lot going on with that. The NXT brand, what's going on with that? And a lot more matches in AEW history coming up as the Pro Wrestling Show starts right after this. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW All Out. All Out pay-per-view extravaganza. As you can see right here, AEW All Out comes your way from Chicago, from the Now Arena in Chicago, Illinois. So, like I said, AEW having a spectacular card. But first thing first, join the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show as we present the Predict the Outcome special for AEW All Out 2021. And you see that card right there, that tremendous card. You see a couple of familiar faces, even a famous familiar face that's making his highly anticipated debut. We'll get to that in a moment. Plus, first, let's get to what's going on. All right, tonight could be Chris Jericho's final fight, or could be Chris Jericho's greatest match. Well, Chris Jericho and MJF will go head to head tonight as these two rivals in their feud tonight. With MJF cap a win, with marking his fourth victory and putting Chris Jericho on the shelf and placing Chris Jericho into a retirement, not wrestling in AEW no more. Jericho claims that he will sit in the announcer's booth and not say no more. Jericho made it clear this past week. We had an interview with Jim Ross. That was the first time Jim Ross even got on the AEW ring and interview. It's been a long time since his WCW days, but it was special and this was important because Chris Jericho made it clear that MJF is a thorn on his side. He wants to end MJF, and the one way to do it is to have that match one more time. We thought when Jericho went in the labors of Jericho, MJF put the deck on Chris Jericho. MJF had Chris Jericho wrestle Warlow, Sean Spears, wrestle people from the past, Huey Guerrero, people from out of nowhere, Chris Gage, and MJF himself won the match due to Chris Jericho being defeated by 4 men in 4 different weeks span. So Chris Jericho, MJF, the final match. It can go either way, but I was listening to the Jim Cornette podcast, and Jim Cornette was saying that Jericho's going to take it, but Brian Last was saying that Jericho don't need it because that's being selfish. MJF needs it more than Jericho. Well, MJF did state this week on Dynamite when he sat down with Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone called him despicable and all things above. MJF said that he does not. He said Chris Jericho is just like Muhammad Ali. He craves the spotlight. He needs the spotlight. Well, maybe so, but Chris Jericho's been a focal point AEW for a long time. He's been the first AEW World Heavyweight Champion, the inaugural champion. MJF challenged for the AEW title, but unsuccessfully didn't win it. So MJF saying that Chris Jericho is a thorn on his side and used terms like he's like Muhammad Ali. He keeps coming back and he needs the spotlight and he doesn't know how to stop. And that's something that we heard before. As you see right, MJF with a cunning, crisp promo that he did, real saying that Jericho acts like Muhammad Ali, saying that his body is immobile, his brain's like a sponge, and he's gonna end Chris Jericho at All Out. And that's the match that everyone's been highly anticipated, waiting for right here. Will Chris Jericho, if he loses, he'll never wrestle again in AEW. This is the final fight between Jericho and MJF. This feud been going on since Chris Jericho brought MJF into the inner circle, and you can tell MJF was trying to be infiltrating the inner circle. Didn't work out so bad. Didn't work out to MJF turned on Jericho and formed his own group, the Pinnacle. Now these two men come to a head between these two men. Look for, I hope, Chris Jericho will win this match because it has to be a payoff. So Jericho will beat MJF. MJF will take that loss, and we have to see going forward with MJF and Chris Jericho. Also, too, at All Out is another match that people want to see. They want to see this match right here. Miro defend the TNT Championship against Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston. Miro looking for challenges in and all everywhere. Miro's been the best TNT champion ever. He likes to say outrageous stuff, including he's a god. His wife, he didn't say he's a god, but he thanks God for giving him strength and power. Well, Miro will take on the brass Eddie Kingston one-on-one for the TNT Championship. Miro been a strong champion ever since holding the TNT Championship and winning it from Darby Allin. Miro and Eddie Kingston been strong as well with his promo, his speaking skills, the New York slang. Look for Miro to retain the TNT Championship. Miro's going to be a strong, dominant champion coming out of this match. Also, too, another match that's been another WWE alum, Paul White, aka The Big Show, will make his AEW debut in a match against QT Marshall. Paul White versus QT Marshall, the match that many people I didn't see coming. But this all started when QT Marshall continued to pick with commentator Tony Schiavone and then his son a week later, bullying him and his group, the Factory, bullying Tony Schiavone until Paul White said enough was enough. Paul White came out there and tried to trying to get order and control, but he had got beaten up on his own. So Paul White, look for that. Look for Paul White to easily beat up QT Marshall, and Paul White getting his comeuppance on Billy Gunn and his sons, on what his sons did this past week on Dynamite. So look for Paul White to get his hands on QT Marshall and then focus on his sons and stuff. Also, too, the Casino Battle Royal match for the number one contendership for the AEW Women's Championship. And you see right here, women who will participate in the Battle Royal. You see, we know Jade is going to participate. Jade Cargill, Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, The Bunny, Big Swole. We know Julia Hart's not in the Battle Royal. We heard that this past week. Red Velvet, Taya Conte, Penelope Ford, Diamante, and I think what's her name? I forgot her name right here. She's from the Dark Order. I forgot her name. If you know her name, let us know who just. I know who she is, but I forgot her name. Jungle Boy girl friend. I forgot her name. Anna Jay. Yeah, Anna Jay. She will be in the Battle Royal as well. So a lot of women jockeying the position to get their hands on the women's champion, Dr. Britt Baker, and be the number one contender for the coveted Women's Championship. But a lot of people want to know who's going to win this Battle Royal. I believe who's going to win the Battle Royal will be Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa will win the Battle Royal. Or if they don't give it to Thunder Rosa, they probably give it to somebody else for a quick shot. But I think Thunder Rosa will win the Battle Royal and punch her ticket to challenge AEW Women's Champion Dr. Britt Baker for the AEW Women's title down the road. We know we want to see that match one more time. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa gave it their all, and it was bloody too. It was a bloody massacre. They even got action figures of Britt Baker, got blood on her now. So, you know, Thunder Rosa want a piece of Britt Baker and become the new AEW Women's Champion. But she had to do, in order to do so, she had to go through in this female women's battle royal to get the job done. Speaking of Dr. Britt Baker, she will be in action as well when she takes on Chris Statlander for the women's championship. These two has been anticipating the match. So look for Dr. Britt Baker to retain her women's championship over Chris Statlander. That's going to be another match that everyone's going to be anticipating, talking about and stuff. Also, too, the Young Bucks defend the World Tag Team Championship inside a 15-foot solid steel cage against the Lucha Brothers. Now we know that the Young Bucks have been using the Elite for their help and aid, but this time it won't work. And they'll be inside a steel cage. No one can help and assist them. The match is going to be that electrifying, as many people call it. So I want to say look for the Bucks to retain the World Tag Team Championship by any means necessary. The Bucks going to do so, retaining the World Tag Team goal. Speaking of that, we thought that Pac versus Andrade was going to happen. We know there's a close tie to that after Andrade continues to tell the Lucha Brothers, hey, you don't need Pac. You want to be champions, you need to be along with me. Well, the Lucha Brothers ignored that comment that Andrade made. Andrade and Pac is canceled for the match, but it will happen this following Friday on Rampage, on the main event in Rampage between these two. So Pac can get here because of his visa issues. So look for this match to be moved to Rampage this week. Also, this week, the World Championship is on the line as Kenny Omega defends the AEW World Championship against Christian Cage. Now, this is the match that everybody's been talking about. Well, everyone's been talking about Christian getting a chance at the AEW title. He did defeat Kenny Omega before on the debut edition of Rampage, where Kenny Omega lost the Impact World title to Christian. Now, could history repeat itself again? Can Christian become the one to do the unthinkable and win the AEW World Championship from Kenny Omega? There's a lot of bad personal blood between Christian and Omega. It dates back to years when Christian said that Don Callis had not believed in him, and now Don Callis sends his goons, as you see right here, the beat down between the Bucks, the Elite, Kenny Omega, and a host of others, attacking Christian, attacking the Lucha Brothers. This is personal. Don Callis trying to say that Christian doesn't amount to nothing. Christian ain't nothing. Christian is just a B+ player. It originally supposed to be Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page, but it didn't turn out to be that way. So it's going to be Christian getting a chance at the AEW World Championship against Kenny Omega, with the help of his manager Don Callis, wins this match. Wins this match, and he continues on his momentum as AEW World Champion. And a lot of people saying that We could see possibly the debut of Daniel Bryan could come in and challenge Kenny Omega for the AEW World title. That could be a possibility coming forward during this AEW World title match at the aftermatch of that. Also, too, we learned that tonight will be a buy-in match where on YouTube, where Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Willie Leo, and Jurassic Express versus Private Party, Matt Hardy, and the Hardy family office. But basically, look for Orange Cassidy and team to win the match against the Hardy family office. Well, there's going to be the pre-show match tonight. Everyone's been anxiously awaiting the highly anticipated match between CM Punk versus Darby Allin. We know CM Punk hasn't been in a wrestling ring since WWE Royal Rumble. CM Punk made his highly anticipated return past 2 weeks ago on the Rampage edition. CM Punk came out there and addressed his concern. He said he'll get to it later on. So CM Punk offered to challenge the match, and the match has been accepted. CM Punk versus Darby Allin. Darby Allin with Sting, but Sting made it crystal clear. Sting said that he does not want to be in at ringside. He want to watch it from the back. So Sting will be watched from the back. Sting and CM Punk had that encounter with a encounter that many people didn't see coming. So now, CM Punk versus Darby Allin. I believe this got to be the main event because CM Punk coming out somewhat of a 7-year absence or somewhat of a semi-retirement. This past week, CM Punk had a fan offer him some beer, and then the fan didn't realize that CM Punk does not drink. So that's kind of weird, but hey, it is what it is. But we know that CM Punk versus Darby Allin, they had a little problem issues with 2.0 and Daniel Garcia coming into the mix of it, where Sting and CM Punk and Darby Allin had to take care of them. And that stable said that they don't want that match to happen. It's going to happen. It has to happen. It's bound to happen. CM Punk versus Darby Allin. I believe the winner of that match will be CM Punk. No offense to Darby Allin. He'll put up a great match, a great effort, but CM Punk needs this match, needs to validate himself coming back into pro wrestling. So look for CM Punk to emerge victorious over Darby Allin. All right. That ends the pro wrestling show. Predict the outcome for AEW's All Out. All right, let's quickly move forward to wrestling hot topics right quick. All right, on hot topics this week, we had to get to the latest right now. Our condolences and our prayers go out to the family and friends of Daphne. Daphne, who passed away after she posted a crippling message, and she did commit suicide. But we here want to send our thoughts and condolences. Daphne, a former star of WCW fame, she paved the way for a lot of women. She was known as Scream Queen. She even made an appearance in TNA calling herself the Governor. This past Wednesday, also too, Kurt Angle made a revealing saying that he doesn't know why WWE would let Daniel Bryan go like that. Daniel Bryan, one of the top stars, now a rumor reportedly going to AEW. Kurt Angle said that WWE making a huge mistake with letting Daniel Bryan go and being sent to AEW. We'll see. We hear what's going on at NXT, where Mr. McMahon is supposed to be set in charge of NXT sometime down the road. So, could we see Triple H? What is it going to be when NXT? Only time will tell on that. Mr. McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, and company are going to be taking over the reins of the show NXT, but not the NXT brand itself. NXT revealed that it has a new logo, a new arena set design. A lot of people are talking about what this is going to be, saying they're going to focus on bigger and younger superstars and taller superstars rather than the old and short superstars, which that's not right, but it's WWE for you. Let's see how far they'll go on this. They could just make a turnaround. We'll see. Also, too, CM Punk said that the reason why AJ won't be coming back to wrestling is because she has a neck, a bad neck, and she doesn't want to jeopardize. So CM Punk making this clear. AJ Lee is not coming to AEW anytime soon. She might make an appearance to sit down, but she's not coming. So that puts the rumor to rest on that. Also, too, WWE had a huge signing. WWE has signed Olympian Gable Stevenson. Gable Stevenson, who was in the Olympics this past year, made in the Wrestling Olympics. Gable Stevenson now just signed with WWE. I know his brother has signed with WWE. Now they saying it's official by Dave Meltzer. Gable Stevenson has signed with WWE. Gable Stevenson better be careful because WWE, they can make her angle, but you just don't want to be a comedy act in their eyes because they'll turn you into a comedy act. Trust me. Miss McMahon Company. Watch what they do. Gable Stevenson now officially signed with WWE. Also, too, Tony Khan made an appearance on the media scrum saying that be surprised for a lot of surprises coming your way during the AEW media calls scrum. So we're going to be surprised to see what Tony Khan got up next. And Khan also said that he looked at that Mr. McMahon's blueprint way back when Mr. McMahon was doing the WWE and before. He said he's using that blueprint because of what Mr. McMahon did back in the 80s. So we have to see on that. All right. Like I said, we got you all caught up now. AEW all night. Like I said, it'll be on all platforms. Pay-per-view, BR, Bleacher Report, be on Fight TV, your pay-per-view provider. So it's AEW's everywhere. So don't need to get lost up in the AEW. So for me, being Kendrick Dix, saying so long, and we'll see you at All Out tonight. See you later.